My best friend betrayed me, and now my family and ex want to reconcile. I don't know what to do as I'm so lost in this situation. My coworker told me it would go good here. So sorry if it's long. I, 20 male, was dating Alexis. Fake name 19 female since I was 15. We met in the days I was the social outcast. I was sitting at lunch reading the Chronicles of Vladimir Todd, Book 5. She asked to join me as we grew closer. It was apparent. She was the school's most obvious goth girl. Dark hair, gray eyes, and an anarchy tattoo on the back of her calf. We shared a lot of the same music tastes, and she introduced me to the knowledge that I'm a greaser metalhead. Before I met her, I was an outcast and had two friends, Thierry, 21 male, and Ryder, 19 male. I met Thierry online, and we instantly hit it off over the love of our Norse paganism. I met Ryder when we went to school together. Little did we realize we were dating the same girl, and she told him that I made her cheat. I had no idea about him, and we almost go into a brawl in the middle of the bus stop. When we both calmed down, Am talked it out. We started being good friends, or so I thought. When I met Alexis, I was over the moon. I thought, hey, maybe I'm not meant to be alone, after all. She was the light at the end of the tunnel, and was there for me through the hardest times in my life. We did everything together, and she was always in my arms, or had her hands wrapped in mine. I felt like I was on top of the world. We shared music, tastes, love of drawings, and other spooky dump. She loved my family, and her father accepted me as the son. He never had two daughters. He taught me a lot of things. Like L and woodworking, he built onto my hobby of making knives and was like a second father to me. Little did I know Ryder had a crush on Alex on the day that was supposed to be our 3-year anniversary. I stopped and picked up her favorite flowers, red orchids and purple tulips, and a black and silver ring with a blood red ruby, as I planned on pre-posing after the Halloween movie. I was greeted by her father's, right hook throwing my backwards out the door. He beat my face all the way across the yard, and wouldn't let me get the words out as to why this was happening. Finally, he body slammed me to the ground, and I shouted, "Why are you doing this on the way down?" It was then he stopped, and I saw my ex crying and being held by her mother, and to my surprise, Ryder, I finally managed to stand and demand, what then? Hell was going on. Ryder told me I had a lot of balls to show up after I cheated on Alexis. I didn't, but how he had proof, text messages, screenshots, and other shit that made me look bad. My sweet and saddened Alexis came across the yard and smacked me. She told me she never wanted to see me again, and that I was a monster who led her on. Then she told me to leave and that it was over between us. I won't lie when I say I'd fallen into a depression. I kept the ring and kept it put away. Word about my alleged cheating made its way around the small town and the podcast I had been turned into, a complete unwelcome. I ended up leaving the town Andy family behind after my own father called me a good-for-nothing. Man whore and was lower than the scum of the earth, my mother said. The son she had died to her in the day she lost her daughter. I officially had nobody who believed me when I tried to explain. Nobody but Thierry and his girlfriend, only he knew the truth, and when Ritter came with evidence in hand told him we wasn't welcome there anymore. And he held me back when Ritter objected and I lunged for an attack. Thierry was there for me when I'd tried to drink myself to death. He was there for me when all I wanted was to give up and die. He refused to let me be alone, and held me when I'd broken down, begging him to kill me and put me out of my misery. I was at rock bottom when I wasn't passed out, sleeping off the drink. I was drinking finally. I got a job working as a mechanic and started saving my money. Life didn't improve for me, and Alexis was always on my mind. That was a little over 2 years ago. After our breakup, Alexis and Ryder got together. There were times I was stomping my own ass just because I didn't see how clearly he wanted her. It was extremely hard for me. But eventually, I moved on, though I haven't started dating. Yet last I heard about it, she was pregnant, and he was the father. Any hope I had of us getting back together died when I found out the devil child of my mistake was created. I started hitting the gym to take my mind off it, and started losing weight. I kept pushing myself every day over and over and over just to take it further. And I started getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Until about a week ago, I get a text from my mother. She wants to apologize and yada 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 about all these regrets and how she's so sorry. When I message back, she's over the moon and asks if we could meet back to my shitty little hometown. I meet them at their place, and my father remarks how I've been hitting the gym and look great. I tell him when you've got nothing left to live for and are at the bottom. Sometimes the only way out is up. Both my parents are just talking about how I've been and asking me about me. I finally got agitated and demanded to know what they wanted after close to 3 years of no contact and reminded them of how they booted me to the curb. They tell me they know the truth, and so does Alexis. Instantly, all the feelings came back. I asked them how they knew, because Ryder stayed on good terms with them and became smoking buddies with Alexis' dad while stoned off his ass on her dad's personal brand of weed. Which keeps stronger than whiskey, mind you. He confessed to everything. Then he realized his mistake and tried to backtrack, but by that point it was too late. He got the same treatment I got, but got sent to the hospital for just thinking he could take her father. My parents told me Alexis wants to talk to me and that they want permission to give her my number. I said that I'd have to think it over first and that I would need time. They said that as long as I was okay, then they could wait. Him so lost and I don't know what to do. On one hand, I want to say yes, but on the other, I still in so much agony from what happened the first time. You need someone who makes you strong, believes you and trusts you, and is there with you through thick and thin. Use your head and think. If you think by your emotions, you will again end up being hurt. You need people like Thierry, people like your parents. Alexi, her parents are someone who follows the crowd and shallow your young make the right decision. You're in the right path. Be happy that you came to know about Alexi, true character. Imagine having an unwise partner who believes everything. And I don't think she is someone who will support you through thick and thin. Don't let your emotions to take any decision. Now your emotions are everywhere. Nostalgia, betrayal by people who should have been with you. Control your emotions and think with your head. It's better to cut people like your parents. Alexi with people like them. You no need enemies. Alexis is past, move on. Even if you two Alexi, you will just accept her. I don't think you can trust her and recreate the love you had before. Out the pile they put you on, you managed to not only make your own life, but now you are thriving. There's a saying about a dog returning to its vomit. You got rid of that vomit of friends, and now you are thinking about going back to it. If you want to talk to her, it should only be for the sole reason to hear her. Apology, accept it, and move on. Not only did she totally believe the lies without even talking to you, but she and her father both assaulted you. There was a fundamental flaw in her character, and unless she's done a lot of therapy, she hasn't changed. The first time you get accused of cheating, it will happen again. Her jealousy doesn't mean she's totally into you. It means she hasn't really bothered to check or believe in your character, that she has a level of insecurity that will make every relationship difficult, if not impossible. You started a new life. Keep with that and find someone who will improve and add to your life instead of dragging you down. Story 2. My girlfriend, 20 female, cheated on me. 22 male 2 years ago. And I found out after going through her phone today because we've had problems. We have had talks about things which were affecting the relationship and how I haven't been getting the love and care I need from her. We are in our 4th year of a relationship. During the last 2 years, I got addicted to weed and smoked it every day, like she does as well. I developed extreme social anxiety and lost connection, or the ability to feel comfortable with friends. When looking at these texts, she told one person in her whole phone, and this is a long-distant friend she's made online, a girl who she's seen a few times, maybe 3 or 4 times. Her dad died, and for a year, we were in a different country, the place I was born, and I put everything into focusing on her and trying to make her feel better. We loved and cared for each other so much, and feel like we still do. So we moved to place together for university to be together. She followed me because she loved me. Her family moved over here as well. 4-hour train ride away. To begin with, this was the first 2 weeks she was in X new country. She stayed with her family to settle them in, and then moved in with me for 2 years to the current time. During those 2 weeks, 4 days before the 1-year anniversary of her dad's death, she cheated on me, which I saw in the texts with her friend. It was a random guy. No. Once she knew her reactions over the couple days of doing it through messages with her friend was that she hated herself, that she didn't even know why she did it. She was deeply in love with me and wanted to just sleep everything up. She stated in those messages, sometimes she hates me because we spent every minute together the year before. Her dad died, and unconsciously she blames me for not spending time with him, but she knows that's not my fault, and I was the person that was there for her. There are constant threads of her going back to her friend, saying how much she hates herself, how it proved that she only loves me, how she's a piece of dump, how she genuinely… Like, there are months on and months after where she is still telling her friend how much she hates herself, how she wishes it never happened, how she wants to tell me but doesn't know how by looking through. I know it's only this random guy, no other people, even though people will say there's always others. The way she reacts, the way she went crazy over this. She broke herself by doing this, and all the messages show that genuinely she hated it, how she did it to hurt herself. We've had lots of problems with giving care to each other, making each other feel loved. 1 month ago, we went to Paris, and it felt like the happiest time ever. We came back home and started having problems again, but we genuinely ironed out all these problems, identified what we needed to do. And she seemed to understand that she needs to do more SND, that she's failed. Now this brings us to yesterday. We finally were moving past the arguments, looking to the future and making a change to be happy again. I was so happy and excited. We are going to be good, we are going to move forward. But in my head, I wanted clarity with everything. I wanted to make sure that the reason why she's acted differently, not as caring, was not because of someone else. So for the first time ever, I decided while she was asleep to check her phone. I spent nearly an hour looking through everything and no evidence, nothing at all, of her cheating. No anything, it showed that she was loyal, until I stumble onto those messages with her friend from September 21, 2021 year. She genuinely is the only person I feel comfortable around. A future without her is cloudy. I confronted her and she lied at the start, then opened up about everything, and it was just as she says in the texts, how she felt, what happened. She understands that she's sleeping it. She wants me to make the decision that makes me happy. She thinks that I should leave her cause. She doesn't make me happy, and she sleep with me, and now she's well did that. She's still living with me at the moment. I will not kick her out. I was about to this morning when I found out, but I can't just leave her to be alone looking for a place to stay. She said that previously, to make us work, she was going to move out at the end of this month because of how we were already going through dump and trying to work on it. And she believed the best way was to get out of each other's constant face and spend more quality time together to fix everything. And I kind of agree with that. But now, after all this news, I don't know what to do at all. I kind of want a day where I can just spend with her as if nothing happened and just have a good day, then make a decision. I don't know what to do. I don't want to talk to my friends or parents. I don't feel comfortable at the moment. I'm not asking for anyone to comment. Sleep with her? I'm asking for someone's insight, since she was going through the death of her dad, and as she said, wanted to spiral out of control, and her life up she did that with. So much instant regret and regret as time goes on through messages. With that friend, nothing points to enjoyment of that moment, nothing points to any other occasions. It shows that she herself up really badly and couldn't even forgive herself. She felt ashamed, embarrassed, and hated herself for it. One thing that really hurts is finding out myself. I wish she'd told me, but she is immature in a way and would, as she said, watch all videos and podcasts and the advice of this friend online, which all would point her to the fact telling me is not worth it did. Her friend and the unwise content of this generation manipulate herself into hiding it. In conclusion, I would like to know if there is any sorrow for her, if anyone feels bad for her, if she deserves any sort of chance again. Once I tell my parents, I think that's the relationship over. I really don't know what to do, but an insight of anyone in a similar position. She is not a dump. She cheated once and only once, and I'm sure of it. I was her first and only until that moment, and that really gets to me as, well, do second chances actually exist? I'm so lonely, please. I need someone's opinion on all this. I think you need to end the relationship. First of all, there is no valid reason to cheat. Cheating is a deal breaker in a relationship IMO because you can never look at the person the same again, nor love them. You have to deal with the triggers, the emotions, the betrayal, basically all the garbage she brought with cheating. Second, how she handled the situation herself shows her maturity level and would make me question whether or not to stay in a relationship with someone. Remember that you are looking for a partner with mutual love, respect, and commitment. She has shown she is clearly not doing that. Third, she didn't tell you right away, and instead, you found out years later. That's bad and shows her lack of communication and respect for you and the relationship overall. I don't see any good reason to stay in the relationship, and white knighting here will not make things better for you. Tell her it's over and tell your parents, your friends, your family, her friends and remaining family, and end this. Find someone better. She obviously was spiraling down pretty bad over the loss of her beloved dad. I've been through an incident where I began to push everything away from me. It wasn't until later that I realized how I messed everything up. In your case, I think you have everything you need to put the relationship together. Even stronger with therapy and being truthful with each other, you should be all right in the future. Good luck.